From Newsnet and CCTV, it's high school basketball coming to you tonight from Cadillac High School.
Fourth and final quarter for the Michigan High School basketball game of the week, and boy do we have a doozy here on Newsnet Sports and CCTV as the undefeated Mount Pleasant Oilers trail the Cadillac Vikings 36-35. I'm Derek Tate alongside Dan Gussert. We saw a lot of back and forth in that third quarter, but the Vikings were able to withhold the stand. And we'll see what they have to finish this one out.
I got to believe all season long, Mount Pleasant hasn't trailed for 3 straight quarters in any game.
Klotz for 3. No good. Rebound snared by Joe Ostrowski. Ostrowski, crossover dribble, and a tough finish over the sophomore Genema.
He did not look at all trouble shooting that up and over Genema and just looked very relaxed. Great move.
Joe Ostrowski now into double digits with 10 points. Mount Pleasant with a 1-point lead. The Vikings trying to give Mount Pleasant their first tick in the loss column. There's going to be a foul reaching in on Ostrowski.
That's the 5th team foul right now, I think, Derek, if the clock is right for us. And the third team foul on us, or excuse me, the third player foul on Ostrowski. That's pretty big.
Have to keep an eye on Ostrowski. He's been harassing Tip Baker out on the perimeter for the majority of this game. 1-point game. Mount Pleasant on top. 37-36. Klotz goes to the bench and in checks David Johns. Now you see them double teaming Tip Baker out on the perimeter, and look at Josh Shell force the turnover, and we've got ourselves.
We got a foul behind the play here, and it's a technical foul called.
The technical foul is called on Josh Shell.
I think that's going to be an intentional foul called as he kind of flipped Baker behind the scene there, if you will.
We saw Shell fall on top of David Johns late in the third quarter with a loose ball. Now both teams, I don't think there was any malice or dirtiness in that, but a little extracurricular activities. And the referees with this highly competitive game trying to rein in the emotions. Baker knocks down the free throw, and we're tied at 37 all.
And that should give him one more, and I think it'll go back to Cadillac basketball off this too. I think it's 2 shots and the ball. We'll see if I'm correct on that.
Baker gives the Vikings the lead, and you are right. They now have possession.
And we got a full timeout right now by Mount Pleasant. Hey, Damian, Derek, how about we do at this moment? We thank our sponsors. What a great game we're getting to watch on behalf of them. Pizza Plus, Cadillac Tire, and Fox Motors.
And we couldn't bring you this game without our crew. Speaking of Damian Brooks, Caden Darrow, Jeremiah Tuck, and of course, our fantastic director, Hannah Crouch. And you could feel the energy in this building now as the Vikings, they were able to withstand and cut out to a fast lead in the first quarter. And you've seen their confidence continue to not waver as this game has progressed.
You know, I like the timeout right there, too, by Coach Shell. You know what? Things happen in the heat of combat. All he's doing right now is saying, let's get it together, boys. Calm down, everybody. I see him barking over to his JV and student section, trying to get them up and at it. He wants his side of the crowd in it, and you got to love that.
As we see Tyler Huneman check back in. Josh Shell stays in the game. So 250-pound plus front linesmen out there for Mount Pleasant. Vikings lead 38-37. Baker, the leading scorer with 12 points. Starting out with a little motion. There's a steal by Jack Payton. There's going to be a foul on Evan Bohr.
Payton got in the passing lane. He's got such great anticipation and quick feet. Evan Bohr almost able to get that.
On the floor for the Oilers. Wojciech, Ostrowski, Payton, Huneman, and Shell.
Vikings come out in that zone, and we've seen them run a little bit with Evan Bohr, those long arms up top.
Ostrowski with 10 points. It's been a quiet second half for Wojciech. And I say that, and right on demand, a Euro step. And Mount Pleasant retakes the lead.
Just his first basket of the half. He had 14 points to go in the first half. Vikings have done a great job on him defensively.
Genema into the lane now, passes it out to Bohr. Beautiful find. Baker misses the layup.
Tip found himself too wide open. What a great move. Great pass, just didn't finish it up. That's all right. Now you come back and play defense.
Oilers trying to add to a 1-point advantage. Ostrowski for three. My goodness. Another one falls from 5 feet behind the three-point line. 4-point lead for Mount Pleasant. Their biggest of the game. Wild. There's a foul. This one going on Mason Wojciech.
And I believe that's the 8th team foul. That'll send the Vikings to the line. Shooting 1-on-1.
Logan Wild is 1 of 4 from the free throw line, has 3 points on the night. Shooting 51% from the charity stripe, and he comes up big there to trim the deficit to 3. The Vikings go 1 of 2 at the charity stripe, and a 3-point lead for Mount Pleasant. And a beautiful defensive play by Evan Bohr, and there's a foul on Huneman, and that'll send Klotz to the free throw line.
That's an unfortunate foul on his part. Just a deflected ball. Ended up in the Vikings' hand, and as he ran into him. It's the right call. 9th team foul. The next one puts the Vikings for the double bonus for the rest of the game.
11 points for Levi Klotz. He's a 67% free throw shooter. 1-and-1 opportunity. He knocks down the first. These team fouls coming into play here with 4:45 remaining. Klotz goes 2 for 2. Clutch free throws. Now we have a 1-point game and a timeout from head coach Dan Shell. The lead swelled to 4 points, the largest of the night for Mount Pleasant, but the Vikings go on a 3-0 run.
We'll see what happens out of this. You know, the Vikings have been in that odd front zone with Evan Bohr up the top here the last couple of possessions. Makes it difficult for Mount Pleasant to find some shots. We'll see if they draw something off. Looking to get that big 3-point shooter Ostrowski going here.
13 points, if I have it correctly, for Joe Ostrowski, who he is letting it go from NBA range.
Absolutely. He's got a shot. He doesn't hesitate. He's a solid shooter. We'll see if the Vikings stay in that, or are they going to make an adjustment here? Maybe set up to look light and then switch man-to-man.
The two backcourt dynamos right now for Mount Pleasant carrying them offensively. They have a combined 29 points. 16 for Wojciech. And don't leave him open. Oh, that rattles in and out. Baker comes up with a rebound.
Well, on that possession right there, Derek, they threw Wojciech in the middle on that. He kicked it right out to Ostrowski. It was a great look. Probably the closest he's been in a while.
Vikings with a field goal can take the lead. Here's Evan Bohr for three.
They rattle out on each end in this gym, Derek.
That touched every part of the rim and didn't go down. Mount Pleasant still with a 1-point advantage. And they'll look to take some time off the clock. It's been a good second half for Jack Payton. But it's been Joe Ostrowski in the second half.
And this is what you got when you got seniors out there. They know what to do with the ball. They're being patient. That's probably a smart foul right there, as the Vikings just have. Well, that's the 4th team foul only. So even to send Mount Pleasant to the free throw line, they got to commit 2 more. I think you're probably better off being a little more aggressive, going for a steal. And the Vikings switch to that man-to-man now.
3:20 and counting. Mount Pleasant has an open look. Payton off the mark. Klotz with a rebound. Well, you can feel the tension in here, and look at Evan Bohr going right at Shell and draws the foul. He can give the Vikings the lead if he knocks down a pair.
That's a big turn of events right now. Mount Pleasant been very patient the last 2 possessions with the lead. If Bohr can make both of these, that'll force them to be a little more aggressive offensively. Sometimes, Derek, I think when you do that, it's hard to get back in your offensive rhythm.
Evan Bohr misses the first, averaging 60.9 free throw percent shooter. He comes up empty on the first. But he knocks down the second. We're all tied up at 42 all with 3 minutes remaining. Boy, what a fantastic game. Ostrowski turns it over. Cadillac on the run. And there's a foul, and they are in the double bonus. Mason Wojciech will send Logan Wild to the line.
Nice job right here by the Viking players, kind of gathering around Logan right there. He's had a tough time at the line tonight. Just giving him a little pep talk.
10 team fouls now in the second half on Mount Pleasant. Wild, 2 of 6 from the line, and he drops to 2 and 7. His struggles from the charity stripe continue.
This is a big one here, though. You get the lead, and that just makes things a lot tougher. On the team that is down, he gets that one almost.
Wild rattles in and out on both, so he comes up empty. 42-42. Ostrowski has been the main man here in the second half for the Oilers. Every possession crucial. Wojciech off the mark. Hierneman gets it, goes back up, and the Oilers have a 2-point lead.
Big man on the glass for 2 more.
44-42 with just 2 minutes remaining. The Vikings looking to hand the Oilers their first loss of the season. Mount Pleasant trying to stay perfect. Loose ball corralled by Baker. Baker gets it to go. Tip Baker with 14 points. And no 2 more important than that one. We're tied up at 44 all.
What a fantastic basketball game, and a very tough basket right there. Great hands. Tip Baker puts it back in, and we're all knotted up again, Derek.
The Vikings giving the undefeated Mount Pleasant Oilers all they can handle and then some. Tip Baker has done a little bit of everything tonight.
So the Vikings with a couple of fouls to give right now. They don't know if they'll be content to just let Mount Pleasant run it down. I got a feeling you're going to be looking to maybe set up some traps, but certainly you don't want to leave that shooter, Ostrowski, alone. So you got to be careful, pick your spot right there, and maybe let Tip Baker make that decision of when to leave somebody and go for a double team or a steal.
As the Oilers, unless they just get red hot here for the final 2 minutes, won't be winning this game by double digits. As we're all knotted up at 44 all, 140 remaining here at Cadillac High School. Ostrowski, who scored 40 points earlier this season in a game, has been red hot from distance. They decide to go to the big fella, Huneman, and it's a good foul.
It's a good foul, and it's a great weak side help right there. It's the fifth team foul just on the Vikings right there.
1:28 remaining. The Oilers get an open look for Payton driving into the lane. Payton got the bucket and the foul. The senior Jack Payton has the chance to give the Oilers a 3-point advantage.
That's just his second basket of the game. A huge one at that point. You know, a great little hesitation move from about the free throw line. Ends up getting all the way to the basket. Makes the free throw. Big, big, big play.
Oilers lead 47-44. Vikings need a bucket. 1:15 remaining in the fourth and final period. Baker, beautiful find to Logan Wild. And the lead is back down to 1 for Mount Pleasant.
Logan set the screen, slipped to the basket. Tip Baker finds him. Nice bunny right there. Huge play in the game. Now who do you foul if you're Cadillac? Not this guy.
Wojciech taking time off the clock, and there's a foul on the perimeter by Evan Bohr. Now one more foul. Actually, that will send Mount Pleasant to the line. 1-and-1 opportunity for Mason Wojciech. He's the leading scorer in this game with 16 points. Buries the first one.
Just his first trip to the line. He looked like he's been there 100 times tonight.
17 for Wojciech. 2-point lead for Mount Pleasant. And Wojciech makes it 3. And now a timeout as we go back and forth.
How about that second free throw attempt is? I don't know if you could hear it at home, folks, but there was an errant horn from the scorer's table as he was taking his dribbles and getting set. He didn't even look over there. Stayed glued to the basket. Nothing but net.
Zoned in was Wojciech at the line. Knocks down a pair. 49-46. Mount Pleasant trying to stay perfect. And to complete, if they do hold on for the victory, to complete a perfect season.
Yeah, they got a couple games left before playoffs. That would make them one step closer to being in that perfect season, Derek. But there's a lot of basketball left right here. This is a pretty, we've been talking about the senior depth here for Cadillac or for Mount Pleasant, but this is a pretty experienced group of Cadillac Vikings players. They made a deep playoff run in football. They know how to handle the pressure. We'll see what they drop out of this, whether they're looking to go right now to find Klotz or Bohr, or maybe Tip Baker going to the basket. And don't forget about Genema.
Up next for Mount Pleasant, they're at Grand Blanc. And for the Vikings, they've got Alpena on February 28th. But right now, we've got ourselves an important possession for Cadillac. Wild driving baseline. Baker for the tie. That one off the mark. And there's a foul on Tip Baker.
That was a heck of a rebound in there by Huneman right there, folks.
going to the line. It's actually going to be Wojciech.
Yeah, I think Hooneman had it. Just at the last second, fell out of his hands right to, unfortunately for Cadillac, Wojciech. I think they'd rather see Hooneman at the line right here.
This could make it a 2-possession game. Wojciech, clutch from the charity stripe. That was point number 19 on the night for the senior guard. And Wojciech, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 34 seconds. As number 34, Tip Baker, picks up possession, and the Vikings need a bucket. Baker for 3, off the mark, Wild was able to get his hands on it. Ostrowski pokes it out of bounds. 22 seconds left. Vikings clinging to life, but they need a basket. It's Baker with 18 seconds left. And it goes through the hands of Genema.
How about the effort right there by Shell just to get to that? Instead of just letting it go out of bounds, he sprints down there, picks it up, and now he's going to the line.
That was for Cole Genema, who's played so fantastic this season as a sophomore. That one went right through his hands, and if Shell can knock down these 2 free throws, that'll about do it.
Yeah, make it a 3-possession game if he makes both of these. 12.8 to go. He does not. Vikings with a little bit of a breather.
Baker. Here's a 3 from Baker, and that one's an air ball. And that ought to do it, as Wojciech will go to the line. And the upset bid from the Cadillac Vikings is going to come up just a little bit short.
They're going to walk away a little bit bummed here tonight with this loss, but like Coach Benzenberg said, this is a game you schedule to battle test you heading into playoffs. And the Vikings got nothing to hang their heads about playing this Mount Pleasant team, probably to the closest finish of the season for them.
21 for Mason Wojciech.
I don't think he's hit the rim on any of these 5 free throws. We'll see about this one. He gets all the rim for that one.
Final 3 seconds. Baker with a heave. And that'll do it here from Cadillac High School, as the Vikings come up just a bit short against the Mount Pleasant Oilers, as Mount Pleasant improves to 17-0 on the season by a final score of 53-46. Stay tuned for our post-game show here on Newsnet Sports and CCTV for our coverage of the Michigan High School Basketball Game of the Week here at Cadillac High School.